There's a lot of bad information out there about weight loss, like a lot. I think there's actually more bad than good. That's why it gets so confusing. But fear not. Today, I'm gonna go over with you 10 different steps on how to lose weight that actually work. They're so effective, I've never seen it not work. Double negative, I know. These are the exact same tips that I give to all my students inside the Fat Loss Accelerator, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. So you know it works. Before we get started, give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell to get notified every time I post a new video every week. So, how do you actually lose weight? Because you've tried losing weight before. You've exercised, you've gone on a diet, but you always put the weight back on. Then you try again, maybe you cut more calories, or this time you try a juice cleanse or a detox diet. Maybe you stay on the treadmill a little bit longer, so you lose a little bit of weight. But again, same thing happens. You put all the weight back on, and then some. That is literally the definition of yo-yo dieting, and it's extremely frustrating. So how do you actually lose weight? How do you make it so that it's healthy, it's sustainable, you're not miserable, so you don't yo-yo diet? And this is a pretty big topic. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Like, just check how many searches and results there are on Google if you type in the term how to lose weight. Last time I checked, it had 450,000 searches per month, and it yields 800 million search results. 800 million different strategies to lose weight. I mean, how do you even sort through that? That just gets so confusing. And a lot of these different 800 million strategies on how to lose weight capitalizes on different things in your body. But I can almost guarantee that majority of them involve some form of calorie restriction, which makes your body lose a lot of water weight quickly, which is also known as the diuretic phenomenon, which causes your body to lose weight if you step on the scale. The problem with that is you're not really losing fat, which is what you want. You want to lose fat. You don't want to just lose water because that's going to come back right away. So you want to focus on fat loss, and that's what I'm going to show you in this video. So I'm going to start with a big one that flies in the face of a lot of trainers, experts, and so-called influencers that gives out a lot of these bad information. Don't count calories. Yep, don't be so obsessed with counting calories. Like, you have no calorie counter in your stomach anyway. Think about it. In terms of apex predators, and we're on top of the food chain here. But think about lions, sharks, wolves, like none of them are fat. Do you see them counting calories? Nope. We, on the other hand, the so-called top of the chain apex predator, are so obsessed with counting calories, and we're also the fattest. It just doesn't add up. And counting calories is so tedious. You're probably not doing it right anyway because it's really hard to keep track of what you're eating unless you're carrying around a food scale with you when you leave the house. I mean, that's just not reasonable / borderline obsessive, and you don't want to live like that. And I'm going to tell you now that you don't need to count calories if you want to lose weight, if you want to lose fat. Like, so many of my students inside the Fat Loss Accelerator have never heard of MyFitnessPal or Fat Secret or any other calorie counting app. They also don't follow scheduled meal times. I mean, meal times are completely made up anyway. Instead, they follow this one simple rule that I give them. Eat when you're hungry, don't eat if you're not hungry. Then they focus on eating real foods, the right kind of foods, the foods that we evolved to eat as human beings, because we're still genetically identical to our Paleolithic ancestors. Which leads me to tip number 2, and it's insane how well this works. Like, I wish I started this a lot sooner, because I was fat in my early 20s. I'm what you would call a late bloomer. Listen, we evolved as human beings to eat plants and animals. And tip number 2 is to eat a lot of green leafy vegetables, preferably at the beginning of your meal. But again, not just any kind of vegetable. Like, a potato is a vegetable, and you definitely don't want to eat a lot of that. Like, you don't want to eat a lot of starchy vegetables if you want to lose fat. I want you to focus on eating green leafy vegetables. A perfect example of this are cruciferous vegetables like Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, spinach, like stuff in that family. Because what this does is it increases your fiber intake. In order to turn off your hunger hormones, which is what you really want instead of being obsessed with counting calories, you need to activate your satiety hormones. You need fat, protein, and fiber, because those 3 things activate your satiety hormones. Cruciferous vegetables, for example, are extremely filling, they're extremely nutritious, they're high in micronutrients, they're low in carbs, and they're extremely low in calories. But again, who's counting? And this is a perfect hack if you're a volume eater like me. Like, I love eating a lot of food. So eating a lot of cruciferous vegetables satisfies that craving. And ideally, you're eating like 1 to 2 cups of cruciferous vegetables for every meal. And again, I want you to eat it first so they don't become leftovers. If you love eating rice, for example, how about switching to cauliflower rice? Cauliflower rice has a mind-blowing 800% fewer carbs than regular rice. Making that simple switch alone, especially if you eat rice every day, or if you replace any starch in your diet with cauliflower rice, I can almost guarantee you're gonna lose fat. Tip number 3, don't drink diet soda or use artificial sweeteners. I mentioned this tip a lot in a lot of my videos because nothing stops you from losing weight than drinking this stuff. And this just goes back to the first tip of not being so obsessed with counting calories. And that's the biggest selling point of diet sodas, because here you are presented with something that tastes really sweet, but you can enjoy it guilt-free because it has 0 calories. So it gets a free pass and it leads to overconsumption. Like, instead of you drinking a can of Coke every once in a while, you end up drinking Diet Coke like every day. Some people drink this stuff like it's water. The problem is, diet soda and artificial sweeteners has been proven time and time again to promote weight gain instead of weight loss. Another study links it to higher rates of stroke and dementia. Other studies link it directly to obesity because, again, it destroys your gut microbiome. We simply did not evolve as human beings to drink anything that's artificially sweetened. Like, our Paleolithic ancestors didn't drink diet soda or put Splenda in their coffee. And people turn to this stuff because they want to cut out sugar. So they have the right intention, but simply the wrong execution. And this is a big problem in today's society because so many people are addicted to sugar. I know because I used to be one of those people. The thing with sugar is that it raises your blood glucose, which causes really massive spikes in your insulin levels, which is your soaring hormone. It's the hormone that controls your body weight. And one key concept that you need to understand here, and this might be the most important concept that you need to understand in this video, so pay attention. You cannot reduce body fat on a diet that chronically stimulates high insulin levels. You just can't. And both sugar and artificial sweeteners stimulate a high insulin response, which makes them extremely fattening. Which leads me to tip number 4. Take sugar or artificial sweeteners out of your morning coffee. Again, I was one of those people that was addicted to artificial sweeteners. Like, I would put 3 packs of stevia in my morning coffee and I would drink multiple cups during the day. And I also wasn't losing weight. When I took it out, I started losing weight. But I also understand that some people just can't take their coffee black. That's fine. So I'm gonna meet you halfway here because this is what I do now and I don't crave artificial sweeteners anymore. Instead of putting sugar or artificial sweeteners, I want you to put a tiny splash of heavy cream in your coffee instead. So it takes off that bitterness taste in black coffee and it makes it creamy and delicious. Because pure fat, that's what heavy cream is, has little to no effect in your insulin levels. Again, that's your storing hormone, and that's gonna allow you to tap into those fat burning mechanisms faster, especially if that's all you drink in the morning and you don't eat breakfast. Tip number 5, schedule a cheat day. This again flies in the face of conventional wisdom because we're taught to have like an all or nothing attitude when it comes to dieting. Like, you gotta go all in. Yeah, that can only last for so long. As human beings, we are extremely flawed. Like, we always want what we can't have. So if you tell someone that they can't have something, the more they want it. This is why you should never rely on willpower alone if you're trying to lose weight, because it runs out eventually and it leads to binging. So I like going the other way on this. You can have it, just not all the time. Like, 1 day a week for lunch and or dinner, eat whatever your heart desires. Live your best life. I mean, be sensible about it, obviously. And this falls with the 90-10 rule that I live by. 90% of the time, you're following a proven fat loss plan, while the other 10%, if you want to eat cheesecake, and I love cheesecake, do it. Like, one bad meal won't make you fat, just like one good meal won't magically make you skinny. But the key is to just keep it to 1 day. You can have everything, just not at the same time. You want to be intentional about it and schedule it. There's even studies to back this up that this helps people maintain their weight loss goals longer, and it makes complete sense. It keeps you sane. Like, if you can't enjoy yourself every once in a while, then what's the point of all this? Now go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to my channel if you're new. If you're learning a lot so far, it really helps support my channel. Tip number 6, you need to sleep. Get more sleep. I can't believe I lasted until tip number 6 to mention this because it's extremely important. According to the CDC website, 1 in 3 adults don't get enough sleep. I personally think it's more than that. My point is, a lot of people do not get good sleep. Not only that, they don't get quality sleep. You want to get deep quality sleep. That's the key here, because deep sleep is where all the good stuff happens in your body. That's when the rest and restore action happens, and it's when your body repairs itself. If you don't get that, that's when you wake up the next day and you're completely out of whack. And we've all been there before. Your ghrelin levels are messed up, so that's your hunger hormone, which causes you to crave sugary things, which makes it almost impossible to say no to that free donut in your kitchen office. Plus, if you don't get good sleep, you also get increased cortisol levels the next day, which is your stress hormone, which is also the hormone that's directly tied to the weight gain around your stomach. Like, you don't just function as well when you're sleep deprived. Like, think about the last time that you were up at some ridiculous hour. Did you ever wake up the next day and said, "Oh my God, I feel amazing"? No, you felt like crap. Tip number 7, be inconsistent with your workouts. So if you've been following my channel, I've made a couple of videos recently about why excessive running, also called chronic cardio, is not good for you because it's extremely stressful to your body. It stimulates cortisol, again, which is your stress hormone, way too much, and it leads to weight gain around your belly. Instead, I recommend that you slow it down, like way down. I want you to go for a walk instead. Ideally, you're aiming for 10,000 steps every day, spread throughout the day. And that's a big enough goal that it forces you to move constantly. And that should be the main goal with exercise, is to just move, because again, that's how we evolved as human beings. Our Paleolithic ancestors regularly walked 5 miles every day. They climbed trees. They built shelters and fire, which meant that they had to carry heavy rocks and big logs. And they also sprinted when they're hunting or when they were being hunted by a, saber-toothed tiger. They did not go to their spin class 7 days a week. They did not run every day. They did not do chest on Monday, back on Tuesday, leg on Wednesday. They did not have a scheduled routine because again, you don't want to fall into chronic exercise patterns. Routine is the enemy. You want to change it up. You want to be inconsistent with your workouts. Like maybe one day, go for a run. The next day, lift heavy weights. The day after, go for a bike ride. All the while trying to get 10,000 steps every day. To me, that sounds way more fun and way more interesting. It doesn't get boring compared to you going to your 6 a.m. class every day and cranking that resistance to the max because you want to burn a few extra calories. Fun fact, calories burned during exercise does not translate to fat burned in your body. And if you haven't lost weight, even though you've put in countless hours doing spin, you already know that to be true. Tip number 8, don't just cut calories. Okay, so let's dive into this concept a little bit more. So when you cut out calories, when we eat less than what our body needs, our body starts to think that it's starving. And your body protects itself from this state of famine by decreasing your BMR. Your basal metabolic rate is the amount of calories that your body burns to keep your heart pumping, keep your organs functioning, important stuff like that. So again, when your body reduces your BMR to protect itself from starving, you also burn less calories at rest. Your body is in survival mode. It's trying to conserve energy. This is why, by the way, you're not losing weight even though you're barely eating anything. You're eating like 1,000 calories every day. Your metabolism has simply slowed down. It also makes it so that you have increased ghrelin, which again is your hunger hormone, because your body's starving, which makes you crave sugary foods. Because glucose is a quick hit of fuel in your body. So it's really, really important that you always eat until you're satiated. And in order to feel satiated, you always want to be eating fat, protein, and fiber because all those three things activate your satiety hormone, specifically cholecystokinin and peptide YY. Like, what do you think is more satiating? For example, for breakfast, bacon and eggs with some avocado or toast with some jam and breakfast cereal. The former is high in healthy fats and protein and it's delicious, which helps keep you full longer, while the latter is an absolute sugar bomb. It's gonna put your body in fat storage mode and it's gonna make you snack mid-morning, and you're gonna look for that quick fix and you're gonna reach for something sugary like a granola bar or protein bar, which again is full of sugar, so you get stuck in this sugar cycle throughout the day, which means that you have high insulin levels all day and you never get into fat burning mode. And they say that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I'm gonna go a step further on that and say that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, not to mess up. Tip number 9. So we rarely sit down these days and eat a proper meal because everything is convenient and available on the go. And I think protein bars and granola bars epitomizes this concept. So we pack 1 or 2 of these as a snack, or we just eat it for breakfast because it's convenient. It's like breakfast on the go. And I don't really know when this became the norm, like eating protein bars and granola bars. But if you ever bother to look at the back and look at the ingredients, they are loaded with sugar. And this includes the natural kind. Like, I did an example of one of these natural protein bars in my other video where the main sugar ingredient is dates. So it's supposed to be good, right? It's natural sugar. Well, if you look at the back, it has 16 grams of sugar. Do you know what else has 16 grams of sugar? 4 Oreo cookies. And you probably shouldn't eat 4 Oreo cookies if you're trying to lose weight. Listen, there is absolutely nothing good about protein bars and granola bars. They're extremely processed and they're extremely high in sugar, which causes a huge spike in your blood glucose, which then triggers a corresponding insulin response, which puts you in fat storage mode, which makes protein bars and granola bars extremely fattening. You're literally just eating a glorified Snickers bar. The problem is we eat like 2 or 3 of these every day. Again, this ties back to my last point in that you want to start your day with a satiating breakfast so you don't ever feel the need to snack. Just eat 3 meals a day like a normal human being. And that's the whole point of tip number 9 here. Like, if you're someone who eats these in-between meals, you eat like 5 or 6 meals during the day, you eat right before bed as well. If you just cut that down to just 3 meals, so take out those in-between snacks, I can almost guarantee you're gonna lose so much weight. Okay, last tip. Tip number 10. I saved the best for last. Since I opened up the topic of cutting meal frequency, again, I'm not talking about eating less. I don't want you to cut calories. I want you to eat less frequently. Tip number 10 is I want you to utilize the amazing fat loss benefits of intermittent fasting. And I have tons of videos about how amazing it is and all its amazing benefits, so make sure you check it out. But one of the biggest benefits of intermittent fasting in terms of fat loss is it improves your insulin sensitivity. Again, insulin is what controls your body weight. So when you moderate your insulin levels, and fasting is the best way to do that, because every time you eat, assuming it's a blend of fat, carbs, and protein, your insulin goes up. So when you don't eat, when you're fasting, your insulin stays on baseline levels. That is the only time that your body is able to tap into your fat burning mechanism. Your body is then able to tap into your fat stores and burn it for energy. And if you're new to fasting, I don't want you to think of it as, starving yourself. You're not. That just tells me that you have an unhealthy relationship with food, because you have about 100,000 calories worth of stored energy in the form of body fat waiting to be used. It's not just there for looks. Think of it as just taking a break from eating and letting your body burn up some of that body fat that's been living rent-free in your body all this time. And this is my all-time favorite question to ask, and I love asking it. What do you think will happen if you don't eat? What do you think will happen if you go from 6 meals to 3 meals and eventually just 2 meals? What do you think will happen if you take a break from eating? You're probably, most likely, definitely gonna lose weight. So again, make sure you check out all my other videos about intermittent fasting, because in my opinion, intermittent fasting is the most powerful method of fat loss, bar none. Listen, if you just do all 10 things I mentioned in this video, you're gonna feel amazing, you're gonna have more energy, you're finally gonna lose weight, you're finally gonna reach your weight loss goals, and you won't have to count calories in the process. By the way, I want you to comment below, which one of these strategies are you most excited to try? I wanna hear what you're gonna implement, and I also wanna hear about your progress. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. The next question then becomes, how are you actually supposed to eat if you wanna lose weight? Because here's the thing, 80% of your body composition is determined by your diet. You can't just freestyle this part. Do you have a proven plan that you can follow? To help you with that, I want to give you a free copy of my Lean Body Blueprint. This is how I melted all the fat around my stomach without depriving myself of my favorite foods or wasting hours at the gym. It's a simple 4-step process specifically designed for busy professionals, and it's the exact same blueprint that I teach to all my private coaching clients, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. If you want to be the next success story, then download your free copy of the Lean Body Blueprint right now. There's going to be a link somewhere at the top here or in the description box. Just click on it, type in your email, and I'll send it to you right away. All right, that's all I've got. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post a new video every week. And hey, leave a comment below if you have any questions about this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. First, a high five.